What's up, everybody? Hey, this is actually going to be a response video to top 10 sequels by the movie nerds. I really like watching your guys' video. Tom, it's been way too long since we've seen, talked. Anyway, I thought I'd throw this out there just to see if you guys watch it. Great, thanks for watching. I'll throw my list in the comments, but I'm gonna do a response video with my list. I had a list of 14 that I really liked, that I really wanted to include in this list, but I had to throw out 4 because it's the top 10, but I'm going to tell you what the bottom 4 were, just because. Number 14, Rocky 2. Number 13, Rambo, First Blood, Part 2. Number 12, Ghostbusters 2. I had a hard time knocking that one down. And number 11 was Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. So I had a hard time knocking those far off the list, but I'll go with my top 10. Number 10, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Caesar is established as both a leader and a family man, and he's got conflicts, and then he's got mutiny he's got to deal with, plus the conflict with the humans. So, yes, number 10 for a lot of reasons. Number 9, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, I know you guys will argue with me, but this is a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, only because Temple of Doom was a prequel. So I threw that one on my list because it is a sequel, and I'm keeping it. So, number 8, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I grew up watching this movie. After school, probably around junior high, me and my buddies would go to someone's house, pop it in, and we'd just watch it, and we would quote it to each other. And so this is a special place in my heart. Their travels through the afterlife, their banter with death, and then the iconic song at the end, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. It almost strikes an emotional chord. Pun intended. Number 7. Sorry, Tom. This is pretty low. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And it's on my list mostly because it followed the book pretty closely. A lot more than a lot of other book adaptations do. So I really like that. And then Gandalf going through his transformation. It's after the Fellowship has kind of hit their first real speed bump in their journey to Mordor. Number 6. Sorry, I had a big list, but Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 had a lot of adult humor. It had a lot of kid humor. The chemistry between the characters is starting to really work. And then Woody has an identity crisis. He always knew who he was. He knew what his purpose was. And then he has his identity crisis, which he overcomes, which is great. Number 5, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I liked Captain America, the First Avenger, but it didn't really explore the abilities of Captain America, and this one does. This one really starts to open your eye to what that super soldier's serum could do, and it reestablishes Captain America's, or Steve Rogers anyway, his commitment to truth, justice, and the American way, more so than Superman. Hate to say it, I know you guys both had Superman 2 on your list. It's not on my list anywhere. But Captain America, the Boy Scout. Number 4, Back to the Future Part 2. Back to the Future Part 1, we go back in time. We see Marty's family. We see Doc Brown developing his time machine and helping Marty get back to the future. Back to the Future Part 2, we go to the future. More McFly family drama, but You get to see all the cool tech that could have been in 2015. We're now 3 years later, and most of it doesn't exist. But it was cool at the time to see what ideas people could have come up with. Flying cars, hoverboards, dust-resistant paper. And then we go back in time to see Marty again, the McFly drama there again, and Biff. You see Biff get beat up again. Pretty great. And hit another manure truck with his car. So, all the things I liked about the first, some of them magnified, but then the idea of being able to see into the future really, that took it home for me. And the chemistry between Marty McFly and Doc Brown is great. Number 3 is The Dark Knight. Batman's established as this boogeyman to the criminals. Working with Jim Gordon to try to take down organized crime. Working with the DA. Seeing Harvey Dent come up as a DA and then be brought back down. The Dark Knight Rises just didn't have that same, and it had an iconic villain, but not as iconic as the Joker. Heath Ledger did the Joker right, and yeah, so that's number 3 on my list. Number 2, number 2 and number 3 for the same reasons that Paul could watch Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This one's number 2 on my list. I could pop that movie in. I could walk in on somebody watching the movie, and I could watch both The Dark Knight and Judgment Day all the way to the end without having to go back and ask someone to start it over. They're that iconic. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I grew up watching this. Mostly the TV edit, but the first time I saw it without edits, I was blown away. Seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger as the good Terminator, the effects they used for the T-1000, the action, it was action-packed. Sarah Connor just kicking butt once they break her out. The motorcycle chase scene with the semi-truck. Man, there's so much in that movie that is awesome. The scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger slices his arm up and pulls the flesh off his Terminator skeleton, that's just awesome. Cool. Number 1, again, grew up watching it, so nostalgic, is The Empire Strikes Back. For a lot of the same reasons that, Tom, you have this as number 1, I think. Anyway, this is my number 1. And nostalgia. Man, I was blown away when I think I first saw this movie when I was 4 or 5, maybe 6 years old, when Darth Vader slices Luke's hand off with his lightsaber. It may be traumatic for me. I may have had a traumatic experience from watching it. Anyway, seeing the lightsaber slice through his hand, no blood, just a piece of flesh falling down the whatever that thing is on Cloud City. Anyway, but this movie established a lot of the Jedi lore, a lot of the Star Wars universe lore, the relationship between the Sith, the dark users of the Force. So a lot of the Star Wars universe was established just from this movie. And again, Tom said a lot of movies copy the format of The Empire Strikes Back when they do sequels. And I think all of the Phase 2 of the Marvel Universe, somebody lost a hand or an arm as an homage to that scene where Luke loses his hand. So, anyway, I'm going to post this list in your guys' comment section, but I'm also going to post this video on YouTube. If you guys watch it, thanks. You guys are fun. I would love, if we had time, if you guys had time, or if you thought this was of any value, I would love to geek out with you sometime. if our schedules can match up, or if we're ever in the same location. I know I'm remote. I'm pretty far away from where you guys are, but yeah, I would love to geek out with you. If it doesn't work out, fine. This will be my one real geeky video that I'll post in response to your guys's. So, thanks guys.